This week, we're going to talk about how to use CBCT as an aid to locate calcified canals. If we haven't met before, my name is Siju Jacob. I've been practicing clinical endodontics for more than 25 years. In addition to clinical endodontics, I've also been teaching dentists improve their clinical endodontic skills, and this is something that I've done for more than 2 decades. I've helped thousands of dentists at various stages in their endodontic journey. Last week, I put out a video on this channel describing how to locate calcified canals in anterior teeth. If you haven't watched it yet, you can find it below in my profile. Do have a look. This week, we're going to talk about one of the tools that can help you do this whole process of locating calcified canals, which is cone beam CT. So we're going to talk about how to use cone beam CT as an aid to help you locate calcified canals. Before we dive in, if you are a clinician looking to improve your endodontic skills and you want some personalized guidance from me along with a group of supportive clinicians, then do check out my private community. It's called Everyday Endo. I've put the link in the description below. All right, let's get to it. How do we use CBCT as a tool to locate calcified canals? I'm going to show you some cases which I did in my own clinical practice, and that will give you a clue as to how to use this when you come across similar situations in your own private practice. So this was a case where a clinician had already started the case, went around looking for the canal, couldn't locate the canal, referred the case to me. And then you see the earlier direction is towards this side. So we reorient the burr along the long axis of the tooth, and that helped us get back on track, and then we located the canal. So radiographs can help you to some extent to know how your orientation is in a mesiodistal direction. When you view this teeth from a mesiodistal direction, yes, the burr can help you go along the long axis and get back on track. But what the radiograph will not help you do is to figure out where you are in a lingual labial direction. So when you want to see whether or not you are far too labial or far too lingual, you need a CBCT. And that's where we need to use that as an additional tool to locate canals. So I'm going to take you through some of the cases where we faced exactly that problem. And I'm going to show you how the CBCT helped us locate the canals. Now, this was a case where, again, some practitioner had accessed both of these teeth. In this tooth, they found the canal on broken instrument. Here, they couldn't find the canal, and then they referred the case to me. This patient already had a CBCT because the patient's primary complaint was this cyst here, which was a nasopalatine cyst. And you can see this was a misdiagnosed case where there wasn't any need to do root canal treatment in the first place. Because if you see the cone beam CT, you can clearly see that the origin of this cyst is not from the pulp. So it is non-odontogenic. So therefore, there wasn't any reason to do endo in these teeth in the first place. But however, it is done. And what we can see here from the existing access that the clinician has done is that they've gone far too labial. They haven't yet perforated, but the entire access is towards the labial part. And you can see that the canal is right before the palatal extension of where the clinician has made the access. So you can see that's the access cavity which the clinician has made. That's the labial part of the tooth. This is the palatal part of the tooth. And we know that we should not drill or look for the canal towards the labial half of the access cavity. Where we need to look at where the canal is, first look at where the palatal extent of the access cavity is, and then slightly labial to that palatal extent is where the canal is going to be. So this is where we found the canal. You can see here, that's the access which the dentist has made. So we know that the canal is not here. This is the palatal wall here, and we know that the canal is going to be slightly labial to the palatal wall because that's what the cone beam CT has told us. So in that case, what we do is we drill down exactly where the cone beam CT tells us where the canal is, and then that's where we found the canal. So that's the canal there. And then once the canal, we found the canal, we instrumented the canal, put some calcium hydroxide, waited for the patient's symptoms to subside, then obturated this tooth, you can see here. And then we put a fiberglass post there to strengthen the weakened coronal portion as well. So that's an example of how we used cone beam CT to locate the canal, because in a cone beam CT, we could clearly make out where the canal is in a labio-palatal orientation, which is something that the intraoral periapical radiographs cannot tell you. Now let's look at another referred case where the practitioner accessed the maxillary central incisor teeth, couldn't locate the canals, and then referred the case to me. When I saw this patient, I took a radiograph. I could find that the canals were thinned down. I didn't have a problem locating the canal in one of these teeth, but I did have a problem in the other one. So this is that particular tooth where I did have a difficulty in locating the canals. So I removed the temporary, and when I looked inside, this is what I found. This is the access cavity that the previous practitioner had made. when you look at the access cavity under the microscope, the initial temptation is to drill down this darkened area, which is what we discussed in last week's video, if you remember. So my initial effort is to drill down this portion, but as I went down this portion, I wasn't really sure whether or not I was on track. So what I did in this particular case was I extruded a little bit of gutta percha from the backfill gun into the area where I presumed the canal was going to be, and then I left that gutta percha in there and then put a temporary restoration on the access cavity. And then what I did was I took what we call an inter-appointment cone beam CT. Now this gutta percha that we kept there shows you the area where I was looking to drill down the canal. And what the cone beam CT tells me is that the actual canal is labial to where I was looking for the canal. So this was a good decision to put gutta percha here and then expose a cone beam CT, because what it told me was to look labial to where I was drilling. Because if I didn't have this information, then I would have gone on drilling down here and I probably would have perforated palatally. So this gives me a clue that wherever I've put the gutta percha, the actual canal is labial to that gutta percha. Now, armed with that information, I go back into the canal. I know that this is where I put a gutta percha, so this is where the canal is probably going to be. So I removed the gutta percha there, and then that's exactly where the canal was. I took a Munzburr, I just drilled down a bit into this area here, and then that's where we found the canal. And then you can see there's a bit of inflammation there. So I removed the pulp and then I obturated the tooth and of course the large access cavity just to strengthen the coronal portion to prevent a cervical snap off. I put a fiberglass post and restored the tooth as well. So that's the post-op. So this case is a bit different than the earlier one because we used gutta percha as a marker and then expose an inter-appointment cone beam CT to tell us which direction to drill. By the way, if you're a private practitioner and you get a case like this in your clinic and you don't really know what to do, won't it be nice to be part of a community where you can ask questions like these and you get me answering, giving you solutions the very same day on what to do in cases like these. That's exactly what we offer in our community. It's called Everyday Endo. Do check out the link in the description. Now let's look at another case where somebody did an access on a maxillary central incisor. Patient had pain, had a small lesion there, and the clinician made a small access, could not locate the canal, and then referred the case to me. The patient already had a cone beam CT, and the pre-op cone beam CT showed us the access cavity made by the practitioner, and you can see that canal is further down the root. This is another angle which shows you the access cavity that the clinician had made, and you can see there's quite a bit of calcified part of the canal, but apically the canal opens up and then there's a small lesion there as well. So our goal is to drill through this calcified portion to reach the patent part of the canal, which is what we did when we opened. This is the initial clinical picture. Looks very straightforward where you can clearly see there's a calcified part of the canal there. So we stick to this part and we go down the root. As we go down the root, you can see that calcified portion remains, but as we go further down, we start losing a bit of orientation. So whenever we are stuck, what I do is I put a little bit of gutta percha there. You can see this part over here. I put a little bit of gutta percha into this area where I'm drilling and I'm not really sure which direction I am going in. I put a little bit of gutta percha there and then I expose the radiograph. Now in this radiograph, when you look at the mesiodistal direction, you can see that I am going a bit too distal. So I will reorient my burr to more mesial and then hope to go along the long axis of the tooth. So you can see me reorienting myself and then keep going down the root. So as I go deeper in the root, I started losing those color variations which usually help me. Those starts fading away. So my journey down that root becomes a little more unpredictable. So I reached this stage where I wasn't really sure whether or not I should continue drilling down that area. So what I did at that stage was I put a little bit of gutta percha there and then I decided to pack this access cavity with a temporary restoration. So that's the gutta percha as a marker there. And then I closed the access cavity with a temporary restoration and I exposed an inter-appointment cone beam CT. Now let's look at what the inter-appointment cone beam CT tells us. What it tells us is that I am on track when I look at this tooth from a mesiodistal orientation. I am exactly in the middle of the tooth. But when I look at the bucco-palatal view, it tells me that I am actually drilling far too palatal to where I should be. So I have this information, and from this information, I know that my angle of drilling, the earlier drilling was palatal, and I should move a bit more labial, and that's where I am more likely to find the canal. So once I have that information with me and I go back into the canal, I know that this is where I was drilling earlier and the actual canal is somewhere here. So armed with that information, that's exactly where we found the canal. And once you find the canal, the rest of the procedure was fairly straightforward. I cleaned, shaped, put calcium hydroxide there. You can see that's the canal there. Put calcium hydroxide, waited for the patient's symptoms to subside, and then I obturated this tooth. That's the obturation there. You can see here. And then because we had destroyed so much of tooth structure, the coronal part is a little weakened, so I always restore with a fiberglass post to prevent cervical snap off. But before we put a fiberglass post, the patient's complaint was discoloration, so we decided to do the conservative option, which is we did a bit of bleaching, which was done by my colleague Justin Jacobs. So you can see that's before bleaching, internal bleaching, and this is after bleaching. So we got a really good result there, and then we just put a fiberglass post and closed the tooth. So that's how the patient walked out, and to us, this patient doesn't need a crown. We just left it with just bleaching and a fiberglass post to prevent snap off. So that's another example of how we used cone beam CT as a tool to locate calcified canals. So I hope that these 3 cases that we showed you just now gives you a clue as to how we can use CBCT as a tool, as an aid to help you locate calcified canals in anterior teeth. Next week, I'm going to show you how we do this in posterior teeth, both how we use a CBCT for posterior teeth, as well as some of the color changes and other techniques that you can use that will help you locate canals in posterior teeth. Like I mentioned, if you're a clinician who practices clinical endodontics and you'd like some support, some help, and some mentoring in your endodontic journey, then do check out my online community. It's called Everyday Endo. I've put the link in the description below. And don't forget to click on that subscribe button so that you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is usually every Saturday. And if you want to watch some of the older videos that I've uploaded on this channel, then do check out some of these videos that are coming up. I'll see you next week with another video. Till then, take care. Thanks for watching.